Why most people don't make it successfully once they're released from prison is because they haven't learned to tap into the 5 areas of life that they need to work on and improve in order to remain free and successful in all areas of life. That's right. You see some people come home from prison and you can see that they're successful in certain areas, but they lack success in other areas. I personally know some people who've come home from prison and they're very successful in the areas of their finances. They figured out a way to hustle, to get a job, and to make money. And they're successful at it. Now, there's a catch. They may be successful in making money, but they might not be successful in keeping that money, growing that money, investing that money. That's something we need to think about as ex-cons and felons. How do we make our dollar stretch? You know, you can't literally stretch a dollar. It's made out of paper. You'll rip it. But how can you stretch that dollar from $1 to $1.50? Yes, if you can turn every dollar you make into a 50-cent gain, you're doing something. But what if you can turn every dollar you make into $2, $3, every one of them? Then you're doing something that most people aren't doing. And as an ex-con and a felon, you are setting yourself up for success that even most people who never been to prison will achieve. But I'm going to tell you right now, the 5 areas of life that I personally worked on over the last almost 20 years that I've been home from prison. And it's been a journey, but I can tell you that I have been successful. Have I knocked any one area out the ballpark? No, I haven't. I haven't knocked any one area out the ballpark. But I realize that if I can stay balanced in all these areas, my life will be more fulfilled. Do I wish I can take my finances into the next stratosphere? I'm always trying. I want to get better. I read financial books. I want to learn how to invest it. I don't want to lose my money. You do got to take chances from time to time, but you don't want to be stupid. You know, you don't want to waste it at the ballroom. You don't want to waste it at the club. You don't want to waste it on loose women like strippers. That's stupid. If you're doing that and you came home from prison and that's where your money's going, and you know you have other things that you need to be invested in, such as your children, your family, your future, society, the community, then you're heading in a collision course with destruction and likely another sentence to prison or even worse, death. I realize that all areas of life need to be healthy. When I came home from prison, I had already started the mindset corrections that were needed to be successful when I got out of prison. Listen, I have an extreme personality. Anybody who knows me knows my personality is extreme. I can go from 0 to 100 with the snap of a finger. And people who know me won't be as surprised because they're like, yeah, that's my boy. He's been doing that his whole life. But people who don't know me, when I do it, they really get like, whoa, where'd that come from? Because I'm genuinely, steady. I'm on average calm. I'm not aggressive. I have an extreme personality, so when I get into a conversation that I'm passionate about, then my aggression can come out because of my passion coming out. But if you don't know, I'll go from 0 to 100, depending on what it is. And even happened in prison. The times when I got in fights and the people I fought, when it happened, some guys were like, man, I never suspected that you would fight that person. I don't suspect nothing either because I don't wake up in the day thinking I'm going to fight anybody. Sometimes it's just necessary for survival. So if you're thinking about survival, sometimes physicality, fighting ain't the only way. You need to fight while you're in prison sometimes, but you need to fight to make your mind sharp. I saw dudes in there. I would be reading books and I was doing my best. I always read the paper. I was reading the New York Times. I was reading the Times-Picayune. I was reading the USA Today was the biggest one. That was my most enjoyed paper I read, USA Today. Now, I did my best to read to sharpen my mind. Now, some of these articles, especially in today's age, back in the 90s, not as much, but today's age, I'm very cautious on what I read. Of course, they don't hand out newspapers anymore because you can go to blogs. They'll send it to you in monthly posts, or you can get it on, different channels. But I'm always cautious on what I'm listening to. You got to take everything with a so-called grain of salt because you never know what people are telling you if you can trust it. So you got to do your own research. But you got to sharpen your mind. I was reading about stuff that nobody in prison had interest reading about. I mean, back when I was in prison, I'm telling you, I read about Richard Nixon. I read about Colin Powell. I read about, honestly, I read portions of the Communist Manifesto and Das Kapital. I could not get through them books completely, but I read pieces of it and I read excerpts from them. And I would go back to reference them. I don't like either one. I see what that's a threat to. It's a threat, honestly. If you're an American and you want to stack your money, that ain't the way to do it. You better listen to those, who really got that money. Capitalism is still your friend if you're trying to stack your money. But that being said, you got to be healthy in all areas. I see some people, they're solid and healthy. They still look good. They work out still. I still walk. I don't work out like I used to. When I left prison, I was swole. I was the biggest I was while I was in prison. I was 225 pounds. I was swole up, all muscle almost. When I was in prison, I was getting all the supplements snuck in. I used to hustle my little money. So I had cash, I'd have a couple $100 on me. So I'd buy usually from the guards. They'll let you get it in. And I would buy supplements and sometimes at Barry Bonds, get that stuff in. And so I was swole. I was eating good too. So I was on that. And so some dudes are like that. And when they get home, they still working out. But that's all they do is work out. They still look good physically. The dude who taught me how to work out, I looked him up and God bless his soul, Marcelli, he died. He was a professional bodybuilder. I looked him up. I was trying to figure out, how he was doing in life. And when I looked it up, I saw, that he had passed away. And I don't know how he passed away, but he was young. But I know he got out and he was still working out. And that was his passion. Like I said, he went to prison as a bodybuilder. But I remember him telling me when we was in jail one day, we was chopping it up. He said, "Man, because he's the one who taught me how to get swollen, how to get big physically." He told me one time. He said, "Listen," he said, I'm so passionate and crazy about bodybuilding that I have literally missed friends' weddings because I couldn't miss my workout. And I lost that friend." And I'm like, dang, that's crazy, man. You don't never want to get to that point. See, that's not healthy. He easily could have worked out later, but he was so committed to that he was willing to lose a friend. You got to go to your friend's wedding. If they're your friend, you can't miss the workout to not go to the. Or he's even said one time, a family member, he had a fan like a cousin or somebody who died, and he didn't go to their funeral because he had to go work out, and it caused a big issue with his family. I'm like, man, you got to go pay your respects. But this is the way his mind was. And now he's dead. And I believe he got out and he got back on working out probably because he was committed to that. And maybe he took some drugs. Maybe it killed him. I don't know. But you can't be so overly committed to one area and not the other. There are areas. See, here's the areas. Let's get into it. You got to be right spiritually. For me, first, spiritually is the most important one. I believe in the Holy Bible. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I was a Christian in jail, and I wasn't no coward. People talk all that crazy stuff. As a Christian, I believe a lot of Christians are in jail, and they'll bang you up if you try to play games with them. You know what I mean? Jesus' apostles rode around with swords. They thought Jesus was going to take on war with the Romans, but Jesus had to check them, and Jesus wasn't no coward neither. Jesus told the Romans, he told them multiple times, he said, listen, I got an army of angels. Anytime I'm ready, war is coming. And if you read the Bible, Jesus is coming back with a sword. So it ain't going to be the same Jesus. When Jesus came back, when he was born and came in this world, he came to die for sins. He was humble. He says when he comes back, they say he's coming from the clouds, riding on a horse with a legion of angels behind him, an army. These are the bad boys that you don't want to mess with. He's coming back. These the only ones that'll make the Navy SEALs look like they ain't nothing. He's coming back with that army, and he's going to have a sword. So he's coming back for the business. So you could go with all that. And I know a lot of dudes go in jail, and they find Christianity for protection, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who genuinely love Jesus. I was still trying to do good in jail and get better. And that's another thing I did. I spiritually I still prayed. I wasn't perfect, but I prayed. I started working on it, and it leads me to where I am today. You got to be healthy spiritually if you're going to make it successfully from prison. It's the number one for me. My spiritual health has given me the ability to maintain a life where I can function in society as a law-abiding citizen, right? Another way is you got your physical. You gotta be right physically. You gotta address yourself. You can't be eating crazy foods. You need to be healthy. You gotta eat healthy things. I know it's hard. I ate fast food. I used to eat a lot of chips. I slacked back. I cut back on a lot of soft drinks. I recently started drinking these monster drinks again. I used to drink them a lot. And I got to be careful on that because they had a new flavor, and when I taste the flavor, it tastes good. But I got to watch that too. We got to be healthy, man. You got to be aware. You think the world is telling you the FDA has your best interest at hand? I doubt it. Come on. They're all working together, these lobby groups. This is crazy stuff, and then you got to be careful what you say because you don't know if you're going to get X'd out. I don't think I'm saying nothing that bad. I could. My mind goes to those places, but I try to be careful on what I say because, I still want to have a voice. And obviously, they'll silence your voice real quick. But you got to be healthy physically and relationally. You can't. I know a lot of people. They can't stay married. They can't keep a relationship. Every day they're like, "Oh, this ain't my soulmate. This ain't my soulmate." What you always talking about some soulmate? You can't stay committed to nobody. You ain't even committed to yourself. So how you gonna stay committed to your marriage to one woman? Or if you're a woman, one man, how you gonna stay committed? You ain't committed to nothing. Everything is uncommitted, So you got to change that thought process, so your relationships are better. You want to have better relationships? Well, practice being a better person. Start by being a better son to your mother and father. Quit breaking their hearts. Learn to tell people you're sorry if you were really wrong. We got to humble ourselves. When I came home from prison, I told a lot of people I was sorry. Started with my parents, and I even told it to my children. My children is a whole nother level, because I know they were young and there's a lot that they don't understand, but I apologize to them. Now, I'm not going to keep being sorry, because I wasn't fake when I said I was sorry. It was real. Came from the bottom of my heart. But you do what you can. You can't change the past. There's nothing you can do about the past. You cannot change it. You can't alter it. You can't go back. But what you can do is learn from it. And I've tried to take a lot of my bad decisions in the past and apply them in my modern life so that I can make a better day today and a better day tomorrow. But you got to have better relationships. And let me tell you something. If you can't get along with the last 5 women that you were in a relationship with, what makes you think the 6th one is going to be the one? There's a problem. You need to stop, check yourself, look in the mirror, and maybe also the type of people you're trying to attract or the people you are attracting is a reflection of you. You don't want to reflect a wayward woman, a drug addict, an alcoholic. Man, you got to watch who you with. Forget all the fun. What is fun? Man, I have fun all the time and I don't drink. I don't do drugs. The very few times I drink is rare. I drink some eggnog for Christmas, and sometimes I might go a year and I don't do it. And I don't get drunk or nothing. I do it sitting in my home just because it's something I enjoy for Christmas. But I can't drink anyway because I'm Japanese and I get that Asian flush. But let me tell you something. You got to do better in your relationships. And then there's your finances, man. You gotta correct your finances. Like I said, you got to get your finances in order. Save some money. Build up a career. Don't be stupid. So like I said, you got your finances, you got your spiritual, your relational, you got your emotional. You got to deal with your emotions. You got to get your emotions. I realized that if I'm going to be successful, I needed to tone back getting mad and blowing up every time something didn't go my way if I didn't like it. You can't be successful and get your point across and grow to be a manager at a company if every time somebody says something or every time a customer calls you out, you blow up and threaten them. You can't do that, man. You're going to fail. It's going to lead you back to jail. And start while you're in prison. Start while you're on probation and parole. Respect your probation and parole officer. I know it's hard. And look, even if they down bad, well, do what you got to. Sometimes you got to report them. You know, if you do, if you don't, some of them are just hard up just to try to mess people over. I know, I get it. I've seen some crooked officers, but that ain't all of them. And then pray. That's where the spiritual comes in. Lord, protect me from this evil. Put a person in my life who's going to treat me right. And when you get that person that treats you right as a probation, parole officer, or officer inside the correction system, man, respect them. You ain't got to like nobody, but respect gives respect. And sometimes we respect people not because they respect us. It's because we respect ourselves. We hold ourselves to a standard. You need to hold yourself to a standard. I never seen nothing like that. And you know what? Most of these prison influencers, not all of them, but there's a lot of them, man. Man, quit glamorizing this. So phony, man. Quit glamorizing it. And then some of them, man, you're in your 40s, man. Check yourself. You look stupid. You know, enjoy your story. It's cool. Tell your story. Get your point across. But what do you stand for? What's your principles and beliefs? I don't jump in trends. The way I dress today is the way I dressed when I was 18. I don't flip and flop, you know? Only difference is as I pull my pants up more. Actually, I wear them the same size for the most part, but I just make sure they're not sagging. When I was young, ripping and running, sagging was a thing. I don't do that no more. But I still wear baggy pants for the most part. Not bigger sizes than me, normal sizes. I can't even barely find pants no more, because they're all skinny jeans. I tell you what, the belt that I'm wearing right now, it reminds me of my mom all the time. My mom sent me this belt when I was locked up doing my 6 years and on my second dose. And I'm wearing the same belt. I've been wearing this belt since I've been free. This belt been with me to different penitentiaries. This belt been with me to halfway houses. I did shrimping with this belt. I did welding with this belt. I did roofing with this belt. I worked in the oil field with this belt. I did management with this belt. I preached sermons with this belt. I spoke to people on street corners about the love of Jesus in this belt. Probably got in a fight or two in this belt when I was in prison. I ain't got no fight. I almost got in a few fights since I've been out, especially in the beginning, but I've learned to steady myself. There's no reason to be fighting all the time. You're always ready if somebody's going to threaten you. But you gotta learn to stay calm, man. You gotta learn to walk a steady line. Come on, convicts. Come on, ex-felons. Let's support one another. I'm here. And I'm gonna put some stuff together as my channel grows. As this channel grows, I am going to be building some content that's going to help you to be successful. I got a track record now. I have an idea, a really good idea of what success means and how to achieve it. Financial stability, relational stability, spiritual stability, emotional stability, physical stability. And I'm going to share these things and I'm going to help some people. If you need help, reach out to me. We could talk, we could chat. I'm in my early stages. I'm not so big right now, on social media to where, I'm like, well, man, I got 20 other people I'm working on, man. I'm going to get you here. I'm open right now. So now would be a good time to reach out to me and speak. I would also like to tell you a story. I'm going to set up these podcast areas. I got things coming, go check out my videos. I got some things coming. And one thing I am is I'm creative. God gave me that gift to be creative. You'll see some different creative stuff in my videos. You'll see I do some rapping. I do some stories where I write stories and put them to different pieces and different beats that my cousin puts together. Rhyming music, I got a pretty creative family. We stand together. I got a diverse family. Hopefully you'll see a lot of them come up. I probably got one of the most diverse families in the South. We got every nationality, but this is me just sharing a little bit about, things that frustrate me with ex-cons and why they keep going in and out the system. It's not, listen, yeah, sometimes it's stacked against you. I've had police in prison, guards, do me wrong, probably on a half a dozen times where they were just straight up lied against me. So it happens. But, you got to think also, I've done between juvenile and adult, I've done juvenile and adult time, I've done about 9 years. So that's, about 6 times out of 9 years isn't bad, And of course, there were the other ones. They were beyond sticklers. They were just looking for reasons. They were right. If you went by the rule book, they were right. But you were like, you really don't have to really push this, and they did it anyway. But I'm just talking about ones that just flat out lied. I've had a couple of them, but even now, throughout the years, I am friends and have been friends and like close friends with police officers, people who are in law enforcement have come to trust me. I trust them. We work, I can work hand in hand, even in ministry, But I just wanted to share a few things and just talk. I'm pushing my channel. The name is about to change. It's with or without parole right now, but I got some big things coming. Prepare. It's going to be exciting. Please jump on this bandwagon. Join me in this journey. As we get the true crime and prison related content out in a very creative and unique way. I'm going to be different. I promise you. It's not going to be the same old. But so you're going to get times like this where this is unscripted. I'm just talking from my chest. And then, of course, you're going to get the times where I script because I love to write. I do art and I do write. And you'll see my art and some of my writings and some of my content. But thanks for watching, man. And it's just a little bit that I wanted to share with or without parole. The new name's coming soon. Be ready. Have a great day. Convicts and unconvicts, convicts of family members who know people in prison. I'm here for you too. This is a community. Let's do it together. Thanks.